Hello, everybody. Just want to give it a few seconds. I hope everyone is doing well. We are going to be talking about money. I did a whole live. It was about 45 minutes yesterday. So we're not going to cover a lot of mindset portion to this just because I did that yesterday. And I spent a really long time the last two lives covering the mindset portion. So today is more about how you can purchase with 100% financing, which strategy is best for you, depending on where you are. And as I share that PDF, we actually were sharing that PDF in the group. You just have to go look for the post so that you can get it downloaded. And then we'll open for an Ask Us Anything near the end of the live. Good morning. Thank you for saying hi. If you are here, definitely say hello. If you're watching the replay, then just comment replay. I'd just love to know who's on. We will also announce the raffle winner today as well. And how you get entered into that raffle every week is just commenting. And every comment you do throughout the week will enter you into a raffle, and then it gives you another entry. So you have plenty of time to comment throughout the week. So we don't pick if you've already won in the past, does not matter. It's just how the raffle goes. So some people win multiple times. We had someone win back to back. It's just how that goes. We want to make it fair to everybody that is actually taking the time to interact with us. So good morning. I recognize all the names on here, so that's great. And let's just talk a little bit about money today. So if you did not do it already, please go watch, I don't know, while you're driving, while you're out doing things or what have you, go watch the live from yesterday. If you were on, comment below what you think, but wasn't that live pretty freaking amazing? I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but based off the feedback, that live was amazing. So if you got to watch it yesterday, just comment below your thoughts while we go into this. I'm going to share my screen. Laura is in, where are you? North Carolina today?
Elizabeth, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Turn your volume up.
I can't hear you.
Turn volume up. I have to message her. Hold on. Okay. So with that being said, I don't know. So with that being said, let's kind of get into a little bit of today. So we will be talking about financing and how Laura purchased 18 properties with with no money of her own within a year and a half as well. So let me just make sure she's able to get back in here real quick. We're having some technical difficulties. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. That's much better.
Okay.
So I was just about to share the screen about which strategy to choose. So I'm going to do that and let you kind of talk over it. Okay.
Okay, I see it very small on my phone, so let me make it bigger here, okay?
Let me know. I can zoom in, but then we can't see the whole thing.
Sure. Okay, so I designed this graphic. Well, actually, I designed something much more on a sketch, and then my other daughter, the graphic designer, she put this in a really nicer format. But a lot of time we have students asking, you know, when I ask them what strategy you want to do, everybody has different goals and different financial situations that they're coming from. So to make it simple, I say, okay, at the end of the day, where are you financially? Where are you right now? And what are you trying to do? So that's basically what this is about, okay? So let's follow the graphic a little bit. Now, you also have this as a download available, right, Liz? If I go back a couple of days?
Yes, I told them in the beginning, if they go back and look for the post, there's a post where we talk about where they can comment to get this download.
Okay, great. So let's say you're a beginner real estate investor and you have money, okay? So if you have money, you follow on the left side of the graphic. If you have money, it says yes, money available, yes. Then you look for, but you're still looking for fast cash. You know, one of the things I always say that I like to look at real estate when it comes especially to wholesaling is my ATM machine, right? So if you're looking for fast cash, then you do wholesaling. If you're not worried about the fast cash, but you're worried more about creating residual income, having more, I'm not worried about having cash right now. I have a job, but I would like to create residual income moving forward. That's when you can go ahead and do buy and hold and fix and flip, use the BRRRR method. If you do have funds available, it's much easier because even with private lenders or hard money lenders, as long as you have some skin in the game, usually they're looking at 10 to 20%. So we have a lender right now that she will loan you 100% of the purchase price plus 80% of the rehab. So if your purchase price is 100,000 and your rehab is 50,000, she will loan you the whole 100,000 of the purchase price, plus she'll loan you 80% of the 50,000, which is $40,000. So you just have to come up with $10,000 down payment plus closing costs. So it comes probably about $20,000. And so you can get into that type of deal. So, you have some money available, you want to go into buy and hold or fix and flip, great. You can use a private lender to do so. So, and if you don't, and if you have money, but you say, I like those bigger cash, I need to pay off some credit cards, I want to take a trip, I want to buy a car, then wholesaling would be your ATM machine. Now, if going back up, money available, no. If you don't have any money available right now, then get into wholesaling. Yes, you can get into buy and hold and fix and flip, especially buy and hold, and if you don't have any money, but you have to be really creative. I personally did it that way. But, I went into lease options, subject to, you have to be really creative and willing to think outside the box. You have to be, reasonably willing to negotiate. And if you're a beginner real estate investor, sometimes that's a little daunting to get into something like that. So like I said, it's not like you cannot do it. I have done it. I had several students that have done it successfully, but it takes a special person and special skills to get to buy and hold with no money down. Okay, so another time as I get into wholesaling, number one, gives you the quicker cash. Number two, it builds up your resume as a real estate investor so that you can leverage your resumes to raise money, because private lender will work better with you if you do have some money available. Okay, so now let's go back at the top where it says beginner real estate investor. You're not a beginner. You've done some deals, maybe you don't have the business where you need to be, but you've done deals either recently in the past. And so do you have money available? If you do have money available, great, right? The sky's the limit. You can do wholesaling. If you're looking for fast cash, if you're not worried about the fast cash, you can do buy and hold and fix and flip. Like I said, for the reasons earlier, you can put the down payment now. You're looking more for long-term cash flow. Now, if you don't have money available, again, you can go into wholesaling, right? Even if you're an experienced investor, it happens. Your experience, you've done well, maybe something happened in your life, divorce or big change in career, setbacks, so many things happen, right? And so you might have to start over, but wholesaling is where you can start. Now, other options is that you can go into buy and hold and fix and flip. And Elizabeth, I don't know what's at the bottom of the chart here. Hold on. Can you scroll down a little bit? Okay. Over, buy and hold. Okay, so basically this is a side note. Like I said, I had done this graphic originally, but my other daughter rewrote that. Private lenders will lend at favorable terms for non-beginner investors. So like I said, you want to build a resume, if you can, by wholesaling. Most of the time, really, kind of what they're looking at is if you've done 3 to 5 wholesale deals recently. Okay, when I say recently, it's over the last couple of years. Not 3 to 5 deals 5-10 years ago, okay? Then they will see you as a seasoned investor, and their terms, they'll go up to 90%. They will give you favorable terms. If you're a new investor, you haven't done any deals, they can still give you terms, but they're probably gonna loan you up to 80% at a little slighter interest rate because you're more of a risk, right? So that's what that means. So this is basically in a nutshell. So to kind of give you which route should you go, based on your financial situation now and based on what your financial goals are.
All right, awesome. So I know another thing we wanted to cover is how you got in with 100% financing using none of your own money.
Right. Okay. Well, I've done a couple of things. First of all, like I mentioned, when I started doing buy and hold back 30 years ago in 1991, I had some money because I had been as a real estate broker in Hawaii and I'd done very well. But the thing is, I was in a situation where my husband at the time, Liza's dad, did not want to use our money for this game called real estate. And, and so it's like, okay, great. You've been reading, you've been studying, try to do it without using any of our money. So with that said, I had to be creative. So I went in doing a lease option. I actually came across Cartoon Sheets, had a course back then called No Money Down. And I remember buying it in late 19 infomercial. And I implemented one of his strategies, which is basically going out there and for the Sunday paper, this pre-internet era, Sunday paper, and he was calling people that wanted to rent their properties. And he would call him up and say, hey, I see you have your house for rent. And I was wondering if you might be willing to sell it in the future. And if he said yes, then he would have a conversation and he would structure what they call a lease option to buy, right? And then he would sublease the property out for cash flow. So I started doing that. And then in the course of doing that, I ran across other situations. I ran across buyers that were willing to, sellers that were willing to do owner financing. I ran across banks that have smaller banks and credit unions. They have their portfolios and they're willing to finance them. You have to buy the good and the bad. Sometime in the beginning, they will give you the property and nobody else wants. And you take those and they start giving you better properties. So I started doing all kinds of, connecting and doing kind of things. So with making long story short, I bought about 16 multifamilies, anywhere from single family to 8-unit buildings within about 18 months. And with over 40 doors, a cash flow of $8,000 to $10,000 a month. So once I had this portfolio, I stopped for a while. Then I went into wholesaling, fix and flip over strategies. And then I bought again a few years later. But at that point, I had more money to invest. So I used a different strategy. But the beginning strategy with the buy and hold, that's what I did without the money. Now, as far as fix and flips are concerned, what I did is back in 97, I was wholesaling at this point pretty heavily. So I talked to a lot of my buyers and I said to my buyers, look, I had 3 buyers in mind because they did have the cash available. I says, look, I have a proposition for you. You have the money. I can find the property because you bought from properties from me before. I have the manpower to fix them up. You put up the money and we go ahead and I buy the property, fix it up and then sell it and we split 50-50. At that point, I was generous in the beginning. I gave him 50% of the profits. So we did that. And then after that, about 2001, I'd done a very good track record doing that. So in 2001, I went into syndication, which is basically saying to people, look, I got together people that had the money. And I said, I've been doing this for a few years, very successful. Here's the proof. I have closing statements. I want to do more. And so then at that point, I got what I call money partners / private lenders, but these are individuals. I had a chiropractor, a vice president of a bank. I had a UPS driver. I even had a waitress from Red Lobster that she did an home equity line on her house. So I had different people from different walks of life that had some funds available. Usually I ask at least $25,000 available. And we started doing syndication, meaning using this money to buy property and fix them up, to buy property and rent them out, and so forth. So that's what I did. So at that point, even I could use my money only if I wanted to, but most of the deals were done 100% financed with these investors' funds, okay? So that's how you never have to use bank financing. You don't have to use your own money. You don't even have to use private lenders or our money lenders. You use these money partners, and I've been doing that since 2001. So these are a couple of the ways how I've used over people money, OPM, to buy rentals and also for fix and flips.
Awesome.
And for wholesaling, that's not an issue, right? Because wholesaling, you either use the end buyer funds or you use the transactional funding, which is a softer money where they'll give you the money for 48 hours with 100% financing. So that's different. That's pretty much under the same umbrella. The private lenders usually will give you transactional funding because honestly, that's quick money and sure money for them. So that's not an issue.
Awesome. So we are going to open up for an Ask Us Anything now. So how this works, first of all, was this good feedback or good? Was this good? Did this help you guys kind of figure out what strategy you want to do? If so, what was the strategy you're choosing to go with right now? And all of that, we're going to open up for an Ask Us Anything. Now, how this works is we take one question per person, that we have to be fair to our paying students. So we allow one question per person to kind of help you out. So ask your most burning question and Laura and I will answer it. In the meantime, I'm going to do the raffle. This week was Money Week, and how you get entered in the raffle, for those of you that came on later, was you just, for every comment you did in the group throughout the week, you get entered into a raffle. So one entry per comment, and whoever gets picked wins. Doesn't matter if they won before or nothing like that. So what we are raffling off this week is a package deal of 3 books on money. And there's 3 that I mentioned during the live yesterday, and I will also link them below if you want to buy them for yourself. They are phenomenal books. I talk about them more in the lives yesterday, so you can go back and look for that. So the winner this week gets Rich as Fuck, You Are a Badass at Making Money, and Think and Grow Rich. I talked how I tripled my income this year with not doing anything else but changing my mindset, and these were some of the books, 3 of the 5 that I read when I went through my whole reading phase to really learn and accumulate and manifest my income tripling. And so I'm raffling these 3 off. So definitely comment if you're super excited, if you're ready to see who the winner is. I don't see any questions coming in either, so hopefully you guys will ask questions, or otherwise, Laura, you probably just explained it so well that they have none. But yeah, if you're super excited about it, comment below. Kelly says it's helpful to keep me focused. I'm definitely going into wholesaling. Wholesaling's the bomb. It's what I do. Okay. So in the meantime, the raffle winner is, make sure you guys comment. It helps with your entries for next week. The raffle winner is Melanie Freeman. So congratulations, Melanie. You won these 3 books. All you have to do is email us at questions@realestateinvestingwomen.com. Pretty sure you have our email from the last time you won. And we will send this to you. We will need your address, your email, and your phone number to be able to send it through Amazon. I am going to link the books here. Again, if you guys want to buy your own here, it will be right here linked to in the comments. I will pin it once it does. And that way you guys can as well get to enjoy that as well. Okay. So let's go into questions. I'm not really seeing any questions in question form. So very helpful to hear about how Laura used creative financing when she had no money. I need to start with wholesaling, but I really want to do buy and hold. Let's see. I'm new and I really appreciate you guys. That's fantastic. I'm so glad you're here. Winner, winner. Yes, Melanie, you won. Okay, so let's do this. How do I know what to use as a wholesaling contract in my state of New York?
New York is a law closing state. So that means that before closing, you would have to get an attorney to close on the deal. But it gets expensive if you do it for every deal, especially if you don't know 100% that you're closing on a wholesale. So my suggestion is that you use a standard contract, like the students we have in New York. I tell them just use our 2-page contract that we supply with them with the training. And then once you have because it's still binding, the contract is still binding, but then once you're ready, before you close, a week or so before, then at that point you can hire an attorney to write it in whatever legal contract they need to, okay? Sorry, I have an airplane going over me here. but that's what you do. But, in the beginning, I suggest you don't do that because otherwise you spend a lot of money. And if the deal doesn't go through, that can get quite expensive. So you can use just a regular binding contract and then have an attorney change it over to a legal contract so you can close.
Great. And I have about a 10-second delay. So if you ask a question and it looks like we overlooked it or anything, that's not what's going on. There's just a delay there between when we see it and when we're talking or when we're talking and then we see it. All right. Any other questions while you have us? We have about 20 people on today, which is nice. Okay. Do you feel it's possible to wholesale outside the area you live in? Well, that's all we do. So we virtually wholesale. We do not wholesale. Actually, you can even wholesale in your area. I started in Miami and I wholesaled in Miami, but I did it virtually. But my main markets are out of state. One is 2 hours from me, which is in Florida. And then the other one's in Missouri. And then I've done deals in Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, all over Florida, Chicago. So yes, you can definitely wholesale outside of the area you live in. And a lot of people do, especially if they're in high volume states and high value homes.
And also by virtual, it doesn't mean only that you can do it locally too, but it means you can do it while you travel. Like right now, I'm in Outer Banks, North Carolina. And the way I organize my days, I work until about 12, 1 o'clock. And then the afternoon we go out, we go sailing, we go, we'll have a sailing trip booked. I'm gonna go see the wild horses today on the beach. So you do the rest of the day, you do fun, but in the morning I work. So virtual, meaning you can work from anywhere. And that's what I do. That's my preferable way to do it. So it doesn't matter, even if I wholesale where I live, which like Elizabeth said, we don't necessarily do it there. But then you can also do it from wherever you are, which is what people love to do, right? That type of lifestyle.
Well, and you get into real estate to have financial freedom, but also freedom of time and freedom to do what you want to do. And so you almost want to do this virtually, so you're not stuck running from home to home and doing all this other stuff. So even if you decide to do it locally, I definitely recommend to build your business in a virtual aspect. Right. That way, if anything with COVID were to happen again or anything like that, your business is ready.
Right. And one of the things I want to say, over the last over a couple of years, the silver lining of everything that happened, it brought people to realize that things can be done differently, right? Remote working is much more acceptable. People are more accepting of the fact that they don't have to meet you in person. So we get a lot less resistance from potential sellers and buyers that, how come you're not coming over, right? So we send companies there to take pictures and videos. So it really gave a different awareness about people want to do business, and that helps you, especially if you're an investor who is looking forward to do it virtually or remotely.
Okay, this is a very common question. Do you have to have a real estate license to get started?
No, most of the states. Now, there are a couple of states that you have to have a real estate license if you do wholesaling. They don't require it if you want to do buy and hold or fix and flip. But meaning, if you want to buy a property and get on title and keep it or fix it up and sell it, you don't have to have a license, but they do require for wholesaling. So the two states that I'm aware of that do it right now is Illinois and Oklahoma. And I don't know if there's any other states, several states are talking about it. Honestly, I see this as a positive thing, not a negative thing. If your state starts to require it, that's okay. There is a website, it's called realestateexpress.com, and you might want to put that in the chat list. It's called realestateexpress.com. It's a great website. I've got my continuing education for them. I got broker licensed in different states with them. You can do all your studying online, and then you just have to take your state exam and your federal exam. But it's only like $200-300. They have different packages. So I think the one I suggest is the one is like $297 or something like that. But that's and you can get your license. So don't see that as a negative thing, because honestly, some of these wholesalers need to be regulated. There is a lot of people out there that are they're scammers, don't do right things. So when you have a real estate license, you have to keep up with certain codes, otherwise your license get pulled. So, I was a real estate licensed broker for over 20 years. I'm not right now, but I was for a long time. The reason I'm not right now is because we do virtually in a lot of different states, number one. Number two, it lets me move you more freely. So when I decided I was going to move to another state, I didn't want to get another license. I already have 3 of them. But with that said, if you get your license or you have your license, don't see that as a negative. So if your state requires it, just get your license. You can do it online, and actually will keep you, in better, and people look at you sometimes as more of a professional. So, it gives you a little bit of an edge. My only thing is you do have to disclose that you're licensed, okay? But the way that I disclose it to the sellers is like, or to property owner says, yes, I am licensed, but I'm not soliciting for business. I'm actually just looking for myself. So you can disclose it that way. So they see that you're serious, you're a professional, and that, you know, they don't have to worry about you trying to scam them.
Great. Is it possible to JV with you all? I want to fund my ability to be a student.
Well, Lisa, I don't think we do JVs right now, right?
Yeah, I've answered this before. Unfortunately, a few people a few years ago ruined it for the rest of you guys to get for us to give this option. We used to offer where you paid half of your upcoming with us and then the other half out of your first deal, but people would get their deal and run away. So we no longer offer that option, unfortunately, just because of that being burned too many times or putting all our time into someone that wasn't serious, even if they claimed they were. So it's nothing against anyone new. It's just that we don't offer that. We believe if you have some skin in the game and you're making your payments, you will do more than if you were to almost get like a free handout. And it's not that I feel like you're asking a free handout. It's just that's kind of how it is. When you're paying for it, people tend to actually stick to it. Plus, you're paying for our time and all of that and our knowledge. So, unfortunately, we don't offer that right now. Okay, Rhonda, yours is a very vague, very long answer question. So we're going to keep this very, very short, Laura, just because this could take all day. This is literally, how do I get my first deal under contract to wholesale?
Oh God, my suggestion is that she attends the webinar that we're gonna host.
Yeah, we are going to host a webinar. We will start promoting it in 2 weeks, but in August on wholesaling. Your best bet is to learn from people that are already doing those steps, and we'll talk about virtually wholesaling.
Yeah, when is the webinar? What date is August?
I don't have it pulled up. I think it's the 13th.
Yeah, it's around, I think it's around August 13th or so. But yeah, look for we're gonna post it here in the group. And also if you are interested, you know, you can private message Liz with your email, and then we can send you an invite once we post it here. Probably next week, we're gonna start promoting it. We haven't hosted it in a few months just because we've been super busy, but we're gonna host it again in August. So anybody looking forward to learn more about wholesaling, PM Liz and she can get you on the email list.
Yeah, just PM me that you're interested in the wholesaling webinar. Be specific or I'm not gonna remember. I'm curious about property management though. How do we find a good property manager? I want to invest in rentals, but I also want to travel so I don't have to worry about property while I'm gone.
Well, my suggestion is, you know, the best thing is obviously to word of mouth, you know, contacting and connecting with local real estate groups in the area, especially there is a landlord association. I have the link not with me, but there is a landlord associations that, you know, they have lenders meeting, landlord meetings, and word of mouth from our landlords will be the best thing, okay? Once you started reaching about 10 properties or so, my suggestion is that you hire just somebody to work for you as a property manager. You have a much more control over expenses, over maintenance fees, over the lease, you know, because when you work with a property manager, you know, they have you and a lot of our landlords. So they have hundreds of units that they're managing. So for them to rent yours first or somebody else, it doesn't really make a big difference. But when you have your own person doing it, obviously they just work for you. So once you start reaching 10 properties or more, hire somebody for you, you're gonna see your income go up and your expenses stay lower. But in the beginning, just go ahead by word of mouth from other landlords. And like I said, you can Google, there is landlord associations and they put up meetings everywhere, every month.
Okay, for virtual wholesaling deals outside of your home state, does the title company used have to be for a local company where the property is? It has to be at least in that state. Some state title companies are nationwide, but we usually use ones that are closer to or in the state of where our property is located.
Right. Yeah, they just have a license in the state. It doesn't matter the location. Usually if they are located in the state, they're probably licensed in the state, right? So you can close anywhere. Like we use a company that's located in Fort Lauderdale to close anywhere in Florida.
Yeah. Do you feel that there are so many people getting into wholesaling that it's getting oversaturated? I love this question.
I couldn't hear, I'm sorry.
Do you feel that so because there are so many people getting into wholesaling that it's becoming oversaturated?
I mean, this is a loaded question because there is a lot I can say on this one. The thing is, there is always going to be people in the industry. There has always been, in over 30 years. I've heard this question for 30 some years now. And the thing is, there are a lot of people in the industry, but how many people are actually doing deals? Like there are a lot of real estate agents in the industry, but many real estate agents are actually getting listings and doing deals, right? So it's kind of the same thing. There are a lot of fly-by-nights in this business because honestly, they don't know what they're doing. There are a lot of the coaching, and I don't want to, shame any coaching out there, but I think there's a lot of cookie cutter out of the box type stuff. And you have to have very clever and specialized knowledge nowadays to really be ahead. And so the people that actually have that type of knowledge and are the players are not that many. And that's the thing it is. You're going to do things differently. If you try to do what everybody else is doing, it's going to be harder. But if you're going to be different, there is only one of you, right? There is only one of your personality and your skills. And if you know what you're doing and you do it the right way and you portray yourself to the people the right way, then there's no competition. I've never been worried about competition because at the end of the day, yeah, there's a lot of people there doing different things, but only that are actually the successful ones, because it takes certain person and certain skills. Well, but now when our students ask, before they join, how many of your students are successful? My answer is always 100% of the ones that follow what they're telling them. And I'm not saying that because I feel like I know more than anybody else. I say that because, I have a track record, and I know I always had a pulse for what is working and not working. I have what I call a crystal ball. And so I'm always kind of ahead of what is going on. Like with the industry changing in the next few months and things changing, I don't look at it as a negative. I actually look at that as a positive, because we are going to see new things coming into play, new way of doing real estate, like we did a couple of years ago when COVID came about. We're going to see a lot of the not serious fly-by-nights drop out of the business, and the ones that are going to be in and are going to be skilled and they know what they're doing and they're really persistent are going to make more money than any other times. So any of you that are on the fence right now about getting into real estate, get into real estate, because trust me, the next 6 months to a year, if you position yourself right, you're going to make more money than you would have made in now or previously. Just because of how the system works. I've been in this business for 35 years. I've seen up and downs and sideways so many times that I can kind of predict where things happen. I can tell you right now, when the market changes and you find the wrinkles in the market, that's where you make the most money.
Okay. I've been trying to get a word in since this entire time.
Well, I wanted to do that because that's something that people right now are really scared and on the fence about what is going on.
And one of the things we were talking about in our student group yesterday was even our coach that's been in and he's made hundreds of thousands of dollars, has done tons of deals, has never been through a downturn. And he's like, I don't know anyone that has. And I said, yeah, except for Laura. A lot of the mentors out there do not know how to reposition you as an investor because they've never experienced a recession. Laura has experienced 3 recessions so far. So you really want to make sure, regardless of who you follow, who you trust, that they've been through a downturn and know how to reposition you during this, because they can't predict what to do unless they've really been through this. And we were talking about that yesterday. And that's why our students and students of other mentors that have been through recessions in the past are going to be light years ahead because they have Laura as a mentor to help during the downturn. She knows what to do. She's been there. She's done it 3 times. And I don't say that to promote Laura as a coach. I say that as you being on this live and you being in this groups during all of this, you have a mentor right here that will help you be light years ahead of everyone that's going to fall or get out or not understand how to handle this. The last thing I want to say about this is mindset. Your mindset is so important during all of this, but especially if you're worried about competition. If you remember what I said yesterday, if you believe you can, you can. And if you believe you can't, you can't. If you believe you're going to have a ton of competition, You're going to have a hard time getting deals. All of this, you're going to continue to have a ton of competition and a hard time getting deals. But if you believe I'm coming from a different avenue, I'm doing this right, I have a good mentor that's teaching me how to be different from all these other people, and I'm going to be successful at this, then you're going to be successful. But when you tend to doubt, which is why you guys want to go watch yesterday's live if you haven't, I know it's long, put it in the car, listen to it while you're driving. But if you tend to doubt it, you're going to have issues here. So Laura definitely does. Yeah, she says, I feel like you have a crystal ball. She does. She really does. She's been through this. She told everybody COVID wasn't going to go the way when people were saying get out of real estate. So many people got out, and she was the first one to be out there being like, do not get out of real estate. What are you thinking? Do not start joining just Amazon. Like, she went really, really into it all. And so keep that in mind too. Your mentor and the people you follow matter. And if you want to give into the craze, then follow the people that give into the craze. But if you want to be successful at real estate, people still need homes, even in a recession. People need to get rid of their homes, even in a recession. People, if anything, are going to need your help more than ever in a recession. The sellers are going to need you more than anywhere in a recession. So do not get out of real estate. Just, you have to follow somebody that understands what to do when the market turns and it softens and it's going down a little bit. And that's Laura. And that's why I don't worry about what's going to happen, because I have her being like, this is what's going to happen and this is how we fix ourselves.
Sorry. On a side note, what's the meaning of dragonflies? I'm sitting here right now and I literally have at least 20 dragonflies flying around me. I know there is actually a very positive meaning behind it, but it's the only place where they're all here.
Change, transformation, adaptability, and self-realization. The change that is often referred to its source is mental and emotional maturity and understanding the deeper meaning of life.
See, I didn't mean it.
The light of God. The spiritual meaning of dragonflies is the light of God. It means looking in, warrior, fighter, all of that.
I swear God, there was actually one dragonfly that sat on top of my phone here, looking like a little bird perched on a branch. And it was on my phone for the longest time. I wish I could have showed it to you guys. It's like they're roaming everywhere around me. Well, so that's great.
Think you're giving out good info.
Good omen.
Right. Yeah. All right. So awesome. I don't see any more questions coming in. I do hope that this really helped you guys out. Another almost hour live. We're on a roll this week. Karen says, if you come across a dragonfly in life, it can serve as a reminder to live life to the fullest and appreciate every moment. Dragonflies can also symbolize that you're ready for a change in your life, and that can be a great initiative to get started. Cool.
See? Yeah. That's great. I'll send them your ways, guys, okay? Each one here. How many people do you said you had on the call today?
Right now we have 18, but our max was 21 at the time.
Okay, well, there is at least 18 fireflies, dragonflies. So I'm sending it to you guys, each one of you, okay? I wish I could package them and send them to you.
So here's what we're going to do. I would love your feedback in the chat of what you thought of today's live. I did pin the books that I recommend. Those are links. It will take it directly to the book and you can purchase them. These are phenomenal books. Rich as Fuck literally changed my life last year when I read that. So definitely go watch the live yesterday. I cannot harp on that enough. It got probably the most feedback we've ever gotten on a live. But yeah, leave us feedback. Let us know what you thought of today's live. If you have any remaining questions or worries or anything you would like to have us help debunk. Coming up in the group, just so you know, next week we are going to focus on systems. So we're going to focus on how to automate everything and what.
That's my favorite ones.
I know. And what systems we use. We're actually going to share some of our systems and show you how we use these systems to automate all our business and be able to do this virtually. We will be going live next week for sure on Friday, and then we will let you know of any other lives we do the day before, but they're always at 11 a.m. Eastern. So just if you can, I think they give you an option. If not, go to the post pinned at the top of the group. It will teach you how to get notified when we go live, just in case you forget. But definitely catch the replay, set your calendars for 11 a.m. every day. That way you can always make sure that you are notified. That way we do. But we also post, as you know, I post like a million times in the group when I'm about to do a live, especially like the big lives. We also end with an Ask Us Anything, but just remember, the more you comment, the more you get through any of these posts, lives. And the reason we raffle off is we are really trying to build a community here of women and build a support. And so the more interaction you do, the more you feel like you're in a community. And that's why we do this. It's not because we just want a bunch of comments. That's nice. But we really want a community here of women that are helping each other out. And if we encourage it, which we have, like we've noticed in the last couple of months since initiating raffles, the women are really, really changing their lives around. And so we're going to continue to do that. Would you like to close out, Laura?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, then you guys have a wonderful weekend.
I apologize, guys. I have sunglasses on. I hate to do this because I know, but there's a sun right here. Just I'm hiding behind the tree so that it doesn't come in my eyes. But yeah, I don't want to hide behind sunglasses. It was hard for me to sit there in the sun. And this is the only place where I was getting good reception and you could hear me. So I had to sit out here.
Yeah, so definitely, she said, buying those books already, read Rich Dad. Yeah, I also gave a few other ones yesterday as well. Oop, I didn't even realize I put Rich Dad, Poor Dad in that one. But I also gave a couple other ones yesterday as well. And I linked them all so that you can just go straight there and add to your cart. I know Amazon's doing a sale on books right now through these links. I don't know if it's without the links, but through these links, they're offering discounts is what someone told me yesterday. So they are definitely doing that. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I posted the morning affirmation today, a little bit late, but it's there. If you guys want to go check that out, I have a money one that I want to post tomorrow morning. So check that out tomorrow morning as well. And have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Okay, take care. See you next week.
Bye.